Hello friend, today in this class we will see how we can create a trigger and we will see different type of trigger events and how we can create a trigger handler and how we can call this trigger handler inside our trigger. Okay, so let's start this class. I have already opened the developer console, so I'm just switching. So here to create a trigger handler, sorry trigger, just you need to go to new, then here apex trigger. Okay, so here you need to mention the trigger name. So today we'll write a trigger on contact. Okay, so I'm just writing contact trigger. Okay, and here this is a subject. So inside a subject we need to select that object, for which object we are writing this trigger. Okay, so let me select here contact. So here it is, I've selected. So the name of the trigger is contact trigger and this is contact, object is contact. Okay, so it's created here. So here you can see trigger and this is the trigger name and trigger on which object? This is on contact object. Okay, so here you can see already on event is there. Okay, so what type of events we have? Okay, so let's discuss on the events first. So these are the events. So we have before insert. Okay, before update. Okay, and before delete. Okay, similarly we have after insert, okay, after update and after delete. Okay, and here we have an additional event, that is after undelete. Okay, so here you can see in before event we have total three events. Okay, before insert, before update and before delete. But in after event we have total four events, that is after insert, after update, after delete and after undelete. So here the thing is we don't have before undelete. Why? Because before undeleting means when we'll delete any record it will be in recycle bin. Okay, so until unless we don't make it undelete, in before event will not get any present data. Okay, so we'll not get the before event, before undelete event in this trigger. Okay, so just as if we try to add this event, it will show it's not possible, it will throw an error. Okay, so we have a problem here. So see, trigger is a before undelete is not supported. Okay, so now today in this class what we'll do, we'll create a simple validation rule. Let me show you what we'll do now. Okay, so this is contact. In contact what we'll do, while creating a new contact, here you can see only last name is required. Okay, if we'll just keep the last name here, this record will be created. Okay, there is no validation. So what we are expecting here, whenever a new contact will be created or updated, we need to make sure that the email ID is given here. Okay, so for this what we need to do, see, this is a validation rule. So for that, what, before saving the data in database, we want to prevent the user to create or update the contact record. Correct, so it should be which event? It should be before. Correct, because what we want to prevent the user before creating the data or before updating the data. Correct, so here we need to use here before. And in which events we want? Before insert we want, as well as we want before update. Correct, so now save it. So see, it's saving here, so it's saved now. Okay, now what we need, we need this particular email value, whether it is null or not. Okay, in case if it is null, then we need to display the error. Correct, so for that what we need to do is, see, whenever we'll write the trigger, we need to make sure we are writing in a bulkify mode. Like always we need to use for loop, and whatever contact is updating, just assume at a time 200 contact is updating, so we need to make sure for all 200 contacts. Okay, not only for the on contact. Okay, so for that what we'll do, we'll run the loop here. Okay, on which? On contact. This is the a subject, that is contact, and here what we are writing, that is a variable name, that is contact. It means con as of now I have taken. Okay, so here how we'll get the new value, Okay, so for that here trigger dot new. Okay, now what will happen, trigger dot new means whatever data we are filling here currently, right, those data will get here. Okay, so before starting this validation, let's see what are the key points here. Okay, now let me debug each and everything. Okay, system dot debug. Okay, so here what we'll do, we'll debug this particular thing. Okay, so similarly what we have trigger dot old. Okay, then we have trigger dot new map and trigger dot old map. Okay, so now what we'll do, we'll just make sure, we'll just see how like what are the values we are getting here. Okay, let me save this. Okay, it's saved now. Now what we'll do, see, we are trying to get the new value and old value both. Okay, so see here, as of now if we'll create a new contact here, so since it is a new, we don't have any old data, right? Whenever we'll update this particular data which is already existing and we'll make any change here, we'll just go and edit this, then what we'll have, we have the existing data, that is titan. Okay, and if just if we change anything, okay, titan test just assume, so that is the latest data. So what will happen, in trigger.new we'll get this particular data, and trigger.old will get only titan. Okay, so trigger.old what will provide you? It will provide you the old data which is already saved in the database, and trigger.new whatever user is currently giving, that you will get in the trigger.new. Okay. Now, what is the difference between new and a new map? Okay. So for that, I will just execute this once so that it will be clear to you. Okay. So Titan YT. Now let's save this. Okay, so here I got the log. Okay, let me open this, not this one, not this one as well. Let me do one thing, I'll just clear this log. So to clear this log, just press alt shift G. Okay, all log clear. I'll just do the same thing again. So now we have old value is titan YT. Okay, now what I'll do, I'll edit this and I'll change it to okay. Now save this. Okay, now we got this. So see the size is 10 KB here. So most probably it will be the correct log. Okay. So now here we see we got the latest data here. Okay. So this is our trigger.new which is coming from line number 2. Okay. So here you can see line number 2. Similarly number 3, 4 and 5, right? So 3, 4 and 5 we are getting all the debug logs here. Okay. So here you can see this is our new, and new here you can see trigger YouTube, right? Titan YouTube last name, and old it is Titan YT, right? Similarly in trigger.new map, what exactly happening here is, see this is the ID, right? So this ID become as a key here, okay? And the same thing, whatever we are getting the trigger.new, same thing inside this contact, right? See as a value. So from here, contact.id equals to is delete equals to false. So same thing you can see, this is same thing, right? So trigger.new is a value for this new map, okay? And the ID is particular contact ID, okay? So here also same thing. This is old new map. So in new map you can see YouTube, Titan YouTube, and here in the old map this is Titan YT. Okay. So now hopefully it's clear. In trigger.new what kind of value we are getting, in map what we are getting is a key and what we are getting as a value, correct? So I'll just remove this. Now hopefully it is clear why you are taking trigger.new here, right? So we just want to make sure the current value is having the email ID, right? So here what we'll do, we'll check the email id is null or not. So for that, what we'll do, inside this contact we have email field, right? So get this email. Okay, in case it is not, if it is not coming, then just press control plus plus space. Okay, control plus space, then we'll get whatever fields we have inside contact or any particular s object. Okay, so if the contact.email equals to null, correct? If it is null, then we need to show an error message. So for that, what we'll do, we'll just do add error, and what error message you want to show, that we need to mention here. Okay, so that is email is required. Fine. Now save this. Okay, it's saved now. Okay, so now what we'll do, this is the same contact. So first, what we'll check, we'll check on the new. Okay, so if I keep here test and try to save this, it should come, right? So see here, this showing email is required, right? But here you can see it is showing the top of the page, correct? But if you want to show this particular field, like in which field it should be mentioned, right? So for that, what you need to do is you need to mention the field name before adding the error. Okay, so here contact.email, for which field we want to show the error message, then add error. Fine. Let me save this. Okay, it's saved now. Fine. Now if we hit this, what will happen? See, it is showing email is required, and this is showing the error message here, email is required. Fine. Now if we just keep any email ID here, it should allow me to save the record. Okay, so let's hit this save. Okay, now it's saved. Just assume we are just updating this. Okay, and we are removing this, right? So here we have this what in before update as well. So before update also it will check whether the email is there or not. So what I did, I simply removed the email ID. So in that case also it should come. So yes, the error message came here, right? So now it's clear how we can show the error message, right? And for this, what we used, before events, before insert and before update. Okay, now what we'll do, we'll do one thing here. Let me first save this. Now see, writing any logic inside trigger is not a best practice. Okay, so for that we need to create a trigger handler which will include all the logic inside that. Okay, so to create that trigger handler, simply we need to do one thing, class, new class, then inside this class we will write our logic. Okay, so this is our contact trigger, and this is we will make as a contact trigger handler. Fine. So inside this contact trigger handler, you can see this class is created. So inside this we need to create a particular method, for which method we want to call this. Okay, so in which method we want to do this particular operation. Okay, so for that, what I'll do, I will just write a new method here. So we already don't know how we can create a different method inside class. So public static, so it's void since we do not want to return anything. Okay, so just we will keep main handler. Okay, now see, main handler here, what we will check, we need to check these two things, right? Whether it is before update or before insert. Okay, so what we will do here, we'll check first before or what it is checking. We need to check two things, before or update or insert, correct? So first we'll check the before event or after event. So for that, what we need to do, it's simply trigger dot is before. Okay, so what will happen, it will return you a true or false data. Okay, so in this trigger we are doing operation on our before events only, right? But for future reference, if you are just adding after events also, we need to make sure this particular handler is having after events also, right? So for that, what we will do, we simply make it trigger dot is after. Okay, so what will happen, whenever this event like before event will call, this particular section will qualify, right? This condition will satisfy, then if this is matching, like if there is any after event, okay, as of now we don't have, but in future we'll add in this particular trigger, then this part will execute. Okay, so this is our main handler. Okay, inside this main handler we'll do our validation, right? So for that, what we'll do, we'll create another method, okay, which will throw the error message, whatever we are doing here, that on. Okay, so for that, what we need to do, we need to create another method. So simply create this another method. Now here we'll write email check. Method name is email check. Okay. Now simply what you need to do is whatever we have written here, correct? We need to pass this here. Simply what I did, I just simply did copy and paste. Okay. Now here you can see one thing. This is a trigger, and inside this trigger we have already mentioned this is for contact, right? But inside this handler we don't have anything which is specifying for this s object, for which s object, right? So this is a simply s object, right? As of now it is not showing for which object it is, whether it is for contact or account or case or opportunity, correct? So we need to mention it is for what? It is for contact. Okay, now save this. So still it is showing some error. Okay, so this is contact trigger dot new. In copy data, since the instance of list is never instance of contact. Okay, so what? It should be a list. So it should not only be a contact, it should be list of contact. Okay, it's correct also. So it's not only returning a single value, right? It's returning a list of contact. So I just change it to instead of a single contact, I just updated to list of contact. Okay, so it's still saving. Now see, this particular method is containing this logic, correct? Now the thing is how this trigger will call this particular method. So this is our main class, correct? So what we'll do, we'll simply call this main class inside this particular trigger. Okay. So for that, what we'll do, I'll just write the class name first, then method name, which method we want to call. So here, always what we'll do, we'll call the main handler. Okay. So let me remove this. So here what we did, we simply call our main handler here, correct? Now see, inside main handler, it's not calling this, correct? But in our operation, what we are doing in before insert or before update, we are calling this, correct? So what we'll do, we simply call this method from this method. So inside main handler, inside is before event, we are calling this particular method. Okay. It's saving. Okay, it's saved now. Now let's test the same thing. So again I am inside contact, so let's remove this, try to save. Okay, so we got the same error, correct? Now what we'll do, see, inside this is before, we are just checking whether it is before or not, but we need to check this insert and update also, correct? So similar way, what we can do is same thing, is if trigger dot is insert. Okay, and we are calling this inside is insert only. Okay, now what will happen, see, now here we have kept another condition, correct? First it is checking whether it is before, correct? And inside this if in statement we are checking whether it is insert or update. So as of now we are calling this only on insert, correct? So so this is a already saved contact, right? So what we are doing, we are just updating this. So if I remove this, then it should save. Why? Because our main handler, like main handler is calling this particular method only in insert. Okay, even though this before update is there, but before update is not matching, we have not written still the logic for before insert, right? For update, so it's not calling this, right? So similarly, what we'll do, we'll write the another if condition. Okay, and it will be trigger dot is update. Okay, in update also what we want to call the same method, correct? There is no different logic. We want to check the same thing for insert and for update as well, correct? So save this. Okay, so trigger dot is update. Okay, it's in update, so it's is update. Okay. Okay, so it's saved now. Now it's clear. Inside this trigger we are calling this trigger handler, and we are just calling the main method. And inside main method we are checking whether it is a before or it's after, and after that we are checking whether it's insert or update. Okay, in this scenario we need to check for insert and update both, so we are calling this particular email check method inside our insert and update if conditions. Okay, now if I go and check this, okay, it will show okay, this is the error. Okay, so now if I go and check, save this, then it will save. Okay, now see, what should happen is, just assume it's a update. Okay, and in update we should not check every time this condition if the contact, this particular email id is not changed, right? Just assume user is updating the phone number. Okay, mobile number, just assume user is updating this phone number, correct? But they are not touching this email, so in that case it should not execute this part, correct, since the email id is not updated. So for that what we will do, we will check whether the email id is updated or not. Okay, so for that what we will do, we'll simply get the old value here. Okay, so for that what we'll do, so if you remember, we have created the trigger dot old map as well, which will include the map ID, sorry, the contact ID and the contact latest value or the old value, correct? So here, what it was including, it is including map and the contact, correct? So what we'll do, map of old contact, and here what we'll get the trigger dot old map. Okay. Now the thing is, it is not specified for which is subject, so similar way we need to do the same thing, correct? So here what we'll do, we'll pass this inside that. Okay, save this. Okay, it's saved now. Fine. So this map old contact, what it will include, it will include the old value and with the contact id, correct? So we here inside this if condition, what we'll check is if this, okay, contact, sorry, map of old contact dot get. So see, this is a map now, right? And from this map what we need to do is we need to get the latest, sorry, old email id. Okay, so from here we need to get the email id. So for that, first what we'll do, we'll get the value from what, id, so that is contact dot id. So here what we did, inside this map we pass the id, correct? By passing the id we'll get this contact value. Now this contact is having what, email, so we'll put the email here. Fine. Now we'll check if that is not equals to current email id which is having in this variable, correct? Then we'll get to know like whether this mail is updated or not. Okay, so see here, here what we are checking, this is checking the old contact, right? Inside old contact map we are passing the id as a key. By passing the id we are getting the value of contact, old contact actually. Okay, so here it's old map, so we are getting the old contact values, and old contact values is email. Okay, from one contact value we are getting the email value, and this is the new contact value. Okay, so in case if these two are not matching, means the email id is updated, correct? Now, and what we are checking, if the contact email id is null, then it should throw this error, correct? So what will happen, If email ID is not checked, then particular event will not like fire, correct? Since, see here, as of now, this is not needed, right? Why? The requirement is very simple. If the contact email ID is null, then only it should show error, correct? But in future, if you are making any automation by updating any particular field, so you need to follow this step. You should check this old value and new value, and if it is updated, then only you should do some other operations, okay? Since it's a validation only, so no need to check this particular thing here, okay? So see here, we are checking this, correct? But it is calling on before insert also. So before insert will not have the old value, correct? So for that, what we'll do, we'll put a or condition here inside this particular thing, okay? And what it will be, trigger dot is insert, okay? So now what will happen, it will first check whether it is insert or not. So for each insert, it will check simply this is insert, so it will be true. Now it will not execute this part, okay? And it will simply check whether the email is null or not. And if it is update, then it will fail, it will be false, but it will check this particular value, okay? It will get the value from old map, and it will get the email id, old email id, then it will compare with the current email id, latest email id. If it is not changed, or if it is changed, okay, then only it will be true. So in case if it is not matching, then it is true, and if it is null, then it will check and it will fire this error message, correct? Means the thing is, since here it is only on null, so it's no need to check here, but for reference, future reference, I have explained how you can check the existing field data is updated or not, okay? So now let me save this, okay? Now so just assume, so you will not get to know whether it is working or not. Since why, it's a validation rule, okay? We are just showing a validation. In future, what we'll do, by updating any particular field, we'll do some automation. For example, if we will update the email id, we'll create a contact, okay, another contact with this particular email id, correct? So as of now, let's update this and just check whether we are getting the email id or not, sorry, validation message or not. So here first we need to update this, as well as we need to make it null. So I have removed this, it should throw the error, okay, it's thrown, okay? Now test the same thing on new, save this, okay, it came. So our trigger is working perfectly, correct? So here we got to know how we can use this is before is insert and is update, right? And from this trigger, how we can call the handler here, fine? So thank you friends.